Hello? Good morning, everybody. Trust is the invisible currency of every financial system. Whether the system is based on blockchain or whether the system is based on central banks and banks. What I would like to do today here is to dissect the concept of trust and how trustless systems are a mirage, how responsibility cannot really be completely automated away, and how the only successful future for Web3 is to marry decentralization with real-world trust. My name is Alessio. I'm the CEO of XTrust. We actually started here in Hong Kong around 8 years ago. As a custodian, today we are a global investment bank with more than $5 billion in assets under custody. We have presence in Hong Kong, in Asia, in Middle East, in Europe, with full licenses in Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, Italy, and France. Trust is not just part of the name of the company. Trust is really the proof of our work, to put it this way. And that's what we are going to unpack today. So let's look into that. I think the dirty secret of cryptocurrencies and crypto market is that we all hate centralized authorities. We hate centralized authorities because they censor transactions, because they make decisions behind the doors, because they are not transparent. I mean, we looked at the LIBOR rigging, FTX, all the same stories. However, still, if we really look at the crypto market, we still rely on centralized authorities. We saw the presentation before about PancakeSwap, but I mean, look at the reality. 90% of the volumes, trading volumes, are still on Binance and Coinbase. Try and sell $1 billion of crypto on a decentralized exchange, you will still need centralized market makers. And the reality is that when FTX and Terra collapsed, everybody went crying back to the centralized authorities, the regulators, to recover the money. So we don't really hate the centralized authorities, we hate their bad incentives. To understand what really centralized authorities are, we need to really categorize them into different categories. So to me, there are three types of authorities. The first ones, they are imposed to us. There's actually nothing that we can do about them. These are like the AML policies. These are the capital controls, the tariffs. These are the military forces. They're just imposed on us. We cannot do anything about them. If we don't respect them, we go to jail or worse. The second ones are the ones that we choose. We don't really want to take care of every single pothole in the city. We don't want to manage the firefighters. We don't want to audit the accounts of every single hospital in the city. Right? So we choose to delegate some of this responsibility to somebody else. The third category is the one where, until today, there was no alternative. If today you want to buy a house, there's no way that you can do without a notary or the real estate registry. If you want to send a message to your friend, you still need to use WeChat or WhatsApp. Well, here's the good story. The positive one is that blockchain can actually smash this category. We can actually upgrade these centralized authorities where until now there was no alternative, and we can do better without them. So imagine a world where instead of using Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, we can have a DAO controlling social media. Instead of relying on somebody else for the real estate registry, we can do it on chain, right? And we have governance that regulates all the responsibilities around it. So it's a new paradigm. It's a system that can be controlled and owned by the user. What does it mean? It means that the user of the system is not just the user like it is today, and there is no centralized authority that monetizes the work of the users. Whoever is using the system is also the person that actually takes advantage of the system and shares the revenues. What does it mean? I mean, just obviously there's a lot of literature about this, but a simple fact that everybody understands, right? In the traditional world, Web 2, the take rates are extremely higher than in Web 3. Why? Because in Web 2, there are centralized authorities that basically extract all the value leveraging our work. In Web 3, the revenues are shared with the community, and then the take rates are much lower. But this is not just a positive thing. Obviously, decentralization doesn't work for everything, but it's a little bit different, because once you decentralize something, decentralization comes with responsibility. And responsibility means that you actually need to do something to maintain the system. It means that you're part of the decisions about security, about scalability, about how a system should work, etc. So you're not really getting rid of the authority. You're just trading a problem with another. You're trading human failure, like in the case of FTX, for code failure, like in the case of Polynetwork. You're trading banks' bailout with your responsibility to keep the seed phrase, etc., etc. So it's not just complete freedom from centralized authority. It's just work with some kind of benefits that you can extract from the system. So in this kind of system, we said we're actually trading something with something else, but we could easily argue that, all right, maybe we can use technology and technology will improve, so we actually can improve the trade-off between the centralized authority and the decentralization. Instead of having a seed phrase, we can share the seed phrase, we can have, what is it called, the social recovery practices, etc. We can use, I mean, we saw in the previous presentation some kind of protections against MEV extractions, etc. But do we really need to go that far? Does it really work? Does it really make sense for us to take this trade-off and getting rid completely of centralized authorities for something that might not be optimal? Well, in my view, we don't really have to do it. There's another choice that is better than this. To do this, we need to really go back and understand what are we creating here, right? And what money is. Let's go through a little bit of history. To build an analogy, let's use the analogy of blockchain technologies, and let's use different layers of technology. So if money, fiat money created by central banks or gold is layer 1, what is layer 2? Layer 2 are basically the scaling technologies. In today's world, when we take the NTR, when we go to the airport, we don't really use money. Money in the sense of IOU against the central bank. We don't really go on a trip using gold. We use scaling technologies, which is the octopus card, which is pay me, etc. Right? These are kind of separate ledgers that actually work only with users that are part of those ledgers, exactly like Polygon or other layer 2 technologies that we use in the blockchain world. That just make the layer 1 more fungible. But the layer 1 doesn't just exist by itself. It's based on something, and this something is called, if it works, it's called credit, right? We need money because there's a credit relationship with other people. We need credit because people and corporations borrow from each other and create this kind of system of trust and accountability between borrowers and lenders. Without credit, we don't really need money. Money is just a way to make credit fungible. And credit, we cannot have credit if we don't have trust, right? So no trust, no credit, no need for money, no need for scaling technology. And trust is really at the base of the human society. If we don't have trust, we don't have a human society. So how can we create a new monetary system without trust if we cannot have a human society? Think about a very simple example. Yvonne, when you go to a party, a birthday party, what do you bring? You bring a bottle of champagne or something, right? At the birthday party, you kind of expect that the host of the party will give back some snacks, maybe a fun party, and at the same time, you can drink beer or Coke Zero at the party. You don't really quantify how much money you're getting back from the host of the party. And at the same time, you don't expect the host of the party to pay exactly for your bottle of champagne. You could do it, right? You will extinguish completely your kind of monetary transaction with the host of the party. But what kind of party would it be? Would it really be a party that you want to go to, where your gift is paid by the host, and where you need to pay exactly for what you consume at the party? That's not how human society works. If we don't have trust, if we don't have this kind of credit society, we don't have a system where we're able to build a factory. We don't have a system where we're able to build a startup based on the trust that the venture capitalists give us. And we cannot pay for our college education, right? So the whole banking fractional system, the whole society is based on this system. And that's not what we really need to destroy. That's what we really need to build upon. If we look at Bitcoin, right, we haven't really changed much. Bitcoin is just a new layer of money that is not based on central banks. It doesn't mean that we will not use Bitcoin or stable coins to settle transactions that are used to make credit and trust fungible. So there's no other system that we can go back to. There's no central authority, there's no central bank that we need to eliminate. We need to find a system that is based on what we already have, but it can leverage the advantage of decentralization and blockchain. So going back to really the beginning, I want to leave you with a message. The future is not really to eliminate trust completely. This is not going to work. We're not going to be able to scale. We're not going to be able to build a system that will be used by the majority of the people. If we do that, we will not have a human society, and good luck with that to really change the way we do things. We don't need to eliminate trust. We need to upgrade trust and leverage the best of the two worlds. Thank you so much, and have a great week ahead.